Mr. Šole, how do you comment the latest decision of Kosovo authorities not to allow the movement of cars with Serbian illegal plates, KM, but with renewed registration?
Well, unfortunately, this is the exact kind of step we did not want to see. When I was in the region last week, I made it very clear that the United States, working with our European partners, want to get out of the business of crisis diplomacy, where we just careen from one crisis to another, to getting down to the business at hand and moving forward on the dialogue that is EU-led and EU-facilitated towards normalization based on mutual recognition. I think these steps over the last 24 hours announced by Pristina are not consistent with either the letter or the spirit of the agreements made in late November, to which averted an earlier crisis. We don't think unilateral acts should be announced by either side right now, and we need to have a coordinated way forward so these sorts of things do not precipitate the kinds of crises we really need to avoid and distract our attention from the important work of the dialogue. Friday this week is a very important set of meetings, bringing together the German, French, and Italian national security advisors along with the EU representative and Gabe Escobar, our representative for the Western Balkans here from the State Department. We talked a lot about the importance of these meetings and some of the details when I was in the region last week in Pristina and Belgrade. We really want these to succeed, and this sort of announcement creates a distraction and could lead to a crisis that makes all of this progress much harder.
We're talking a day before the visit of special envoys to Kosovo and Serbia. What are your expectations from this visit? Are they bringing any sort of solution to get two parties back to the table?
Well, again, it's very important that the visit's happening and that the parties are talking. This visit is a follow-up to earlier visits late last year. It's a very important moment. The reason why the United States is joining this visit is because of the importance we place on this process and our support for this process. We do not expect this situation to be solved over the course of these meetings tomorrow, but it's an important turning point, we hope, in this process that in the coming weeks, we hope to see real progress.
After your most recent visit to Kosovo and Serbia, can you share impressions whether two countries are ready or can agree on anything regarding the final deal?
Yes, I saw reasons for hope in conversations both in Pristina and Belgrade, but this is going to require tough choices and political courage. And what I wanted to make clear to leaders in both Pristina and Belgrade was the importance the United States places on this process, the hopes we have for this process, and the potential opportunities that can come for both Kosovo and Serbia if they are able to find a way to normalize their relationship. We think that the Euro-Atlantic path for both Kosovo and Serbia is there, and we want to see them move down that path. But it's going to be hard as long as this issue remains unsolved, and that's why we are going to do whatever we can to try to promote this moving forward.
What are some of the tough choices two sides have to make?
Well, look, I don't want to get into the details, and it's not probably unwise. It is very unwise for me to talk about those tough choices publicly. That said, both governments need to be able to show a willingness to compromise here. We think those compromises are possible. We are trying to come up with creative solutions to help them make those compromises. But we also want to be clear on the potential path here. We think that the upside of having this agreement moving towards normalization is very clear for Kosovo, very clear for Serbia. In my view, it would unquestionably make the lives of the people of Kosovo and Serbia better if they were able to sort this out and normalize the relationship along the lines that the EU proposal has outlined. But there's a lot of details to be sorted out. I do not want to mislead your viewers in any way. This is going to be tough, as all negotiations are in the Balkans. But we do think that there's hope and that this is an opportune moment.
And the Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić just recently said that Serbia will never accept to recognize formally or informally Kosovo, nor would it accept Kosovo's membership to the UN. Where does the process of negotiation go with such attitude of Serbia?
Well, again, I don't want to get into the details of the negotiation here publicly. All I can say is to reiterate that we believe that there's hope, that there are compromises that are possible by both sides. This will be tough. This will require courage. This will require bravery. We think that the leaders have it in them. We are putting them to the test, and we are also being clear with them about the potential opportunities that can come when we have this kind of agreement.
The US has supported the EU proposal for Kosovo and Serbia. Kosovo said it's a good base for the negotiation. But have Serbian officials told you what they think of it?
They had provided some feedback to the European Union in the initial round of discussions. Obviously, we'll be getting more feedback and a way forward after the conversations tomorrow, and then going from there. That's why we are very hopeful that these conversations are constructive. People enter them with an open mind, and therefore we can find a way forward. We do also think that this EU-led, EU-facilitated process is a good basis for discussion. In any negotiation, there are going to be puts and takes. There are going to be compromises that are going to need to be achieved. We think the basic framework and details of this negotiation are solid, understanding, though, that they're going to change over time.
Will there be any measures or sanctions to two sides if they don't accept the EU proposal?
Again, I don't want to get into potential downsides, but I can say that we're being very clear with both sides. The high expectations we are placing on this process, our willingness to be active partners in this process. We're not just saying that, we are actually doing that. It's why my colleagues will be part of the conversations tomorrow, and we will be following up on our own as well as in partnership with our European Union colleagues on this process. We see the huge upside potential here in terms of unlocking all that the Balkans have to offer. It's no secret that there's tremendous economic challenges in the region. There's energy security challenges that have only been made worse by the war in Ukraine. And we want to help these leaders and these people overcome these challenges, but also realize the great potential. The key to that is going to be finding some way forward on the normalization.
You said in Pristina that you're waiting for Kosovo's government to put some proposals on association of Serb majority municipalities. Have you seen any movement on it?
Not as of yet, unfortunately, but we've been very clear, publicly and privately, that we believe the ASM, the Association for Serb Majority Municipalities, needs to get up and running. There are some details that need to be sorted out regarding that, but we believe this is a commitment that has been made in the past. We believe setting up this ASM is consistent with the Kosovo Constitution. And we are very clear with our colleagues in Pristina that this is something that is not a Republika Srpska-like entity. The United States would not accept that. That is not what we are pushing. But I heard directly from leaders from the north, from Kosovan Serb leaders, the importance that they place on the ASM, the sense that they feel somewhat distant from decisions that are made over their own communities and want to be part of a process where they are taking more responsibility for their own futures. That's something we very much promote. Again, we think this is entirely consistent with the Kosovan Constitution, and it's implementing a decision that was taken some time ago.
Kosovo government has not moved, as you said. This week they also said that they don't support the creation of the association. Is there a way around the association for current government of Kosovo?
Again, I don't want to speculate on possible workarounds, because we believe that the program of record, the commitments that have been made should be implemented. We believe they are implementable, and we believe that they should be implemented. We, the United States, are going to do our part to try to make sure it's very clear what the ASM is and what it is not, but we do think it's high time that the ASM be implemented.
Mr. Escobar last time told us that if Kosovo government does not involve itself in the creation of the association, the U.S. can begin discussions with alternative partners. Would that be the next step of the U.S.?
Again, I don't want to speculate on next steps. All I can say is that we, the United States, are going to continue to make very clear to our partners in Pristina, publicly and privately, the importance we place on the ASM, the view that we have that this is a previous commitment that is consistent with the Kosovan Constitution, and that it is not creating a Republika Srpska. We're going to do our part to try to demystify the ASM in some ways, because I think there's a lot of uncertainty about what the ASM is and what it isn't. but we're going to be very clear about our views on this, the importance we place on it, and also that it's not going to be creating a Republika Srpska-like entity within Kosovo.
Has the U.S. started looking for alternative partners? Who are they on this issue?
Again, I don't want to get into the details of any of that right now. All I can say is we will continue to make clear publicly as well as privately the importance we place on this and the red line that this is not a Republika Srpska.
Thank you very much, Mr. Šole, for talking to Radio Free Europe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.